All right, we are going to start our topic of classification, folks, with a little bit of history behind how we got into our current system, which we talked earlier about with the vocabulary of binomial nomenclature. So we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of people. So you need to know, part of the objectives is that you know Aristotle's system and also Linnaeus's system. And then tomorrow we will get into the modern system of nomenclature. Okay? So today we're going to talk a little bit about the history, and we're going to start our discussion with a person named Aristotle. Okay? So one of the earliest systems of classification was Aristotle, and he was 394 to 322 BC. So it's a long, long time ago. He was a philosopher. Now, what Aristotle said, what he said is that we have living things, and we classify the living things as either animals or plants. So Aristotle's classification system said either you're a plant, you're an animal, and he even went and said that animals are red-blooded, they live in habitats, and they have a specific morphology. Okay? A specific way that they are shaped. He also said that plants were based on size and structure. Size and structure. So if you look up here, we can see that Aristotle said animals can be land animals, they can be water animals, they can be air animals. He said that plants can be small plants, they can be medium plants, they can be large plants. All right? Now, can you see any problems with Aristotle's system of classification? Yeah, Fletcher, what's one? Okay, it's not very specific, is it? Okay, it's not very specific, number one. But, I mean, you're going to see when we deal with binomial nomenclature and the whole system of naming, we go from very, very broad to very, very specific. Okay? So in our nomenclature we use right now, we have some broad stuff like this too. Okay? What's another limitation to this system? Okay? What's wrong with it? Okay, that's what I mean by a limitation. What's wrong? Why can't we just use? Why didn't we just settle with Aristotle's system of naming? Jonathan? Plants aren't all about size and structure. Okay? We could classify them different ways. Couldn't we? Do all plants have leaves? Do all plants have bark? Okay. Do all plants have seeds? Some are water plants. Excellent. Land plants. Okay. What else? Jamie? Have you ever heard of an amphibian? What's an amphibian? Can live on both land and water. Okay? Our turtle over there Kelly and Chadwick. Both of those guys over there. They can live underwater. They can live on land. So that would be a problem with Aristotle's. Okay? So those limitations that we're talking about, those limitations, I said, okay, what's my habitat here? Where does this guy live? Does he like it in the water? What is it? What is that? It's a bird. Anybody ever seen one of these? Down the ocean. Who just went to Florida? Was that you? The Hilton Head? Okay, you probably saw some of these there, right? Okay. What are they called? Any ideas? It's a pelican. Yeah, it's a pelican. I'm going to New Orleans this summer. Okay. I'll bet you anything I see a pelican there. All right. I went to Fort Myers. I'm going back to Fort Myers again. Fort Myers. I got some family who live in Fort Myers. There are pelicans there all over the place. Now, what do you know about pelicans? What do they eat? Fish. So do they need to be by water? Yes. Is water essential for their habitat? Yes. Because why? That's where their food is. Okay. Do they live on land? Can they live on land? Yeah, they perch. Okay. They perch on land. Are they air animals too? Yeah. So based on Aristotle's classification system, this pelican would be in all three of them, wouldn't it? Now let's talk about Carolus Linnaeus. Linnaeus, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of the times we just refer to him as Carl Linnaeus. There's a picture of the old chap. Looks like the guy around, just by looking at this picture. What's that remind you of? Pictures, it reminds me of pictures like early years of our presidents, where they always wore the wigs and the fake hair and stuff. I don't know if that's true with this, but that's what it reminds me of. Okay? We call Linnaeus the father of taxonomy. The father of taxonomy. Now, turn back a page. Turn back one page and tell me, let's see, Sydney, go ahead and turn back one page. Tell me what taxonomy is. Okay. The branch of biology that is used to name organisms. Okay. The taxonomy. So, Linnaeus we call the father of taxonomy. He used Aristotle's system, but he adapted it. He added things to it. He added behaviors. He said, I'm going to try to avoid some of those limitations that we have. Okay? I'm going to try to avoid some of the limitations that we have with Aristotle's system. And what we call this is a taxonomic organization. A taxonomic organization. Now, we talked about Linnaeus, and we said in our vocab, if we pull up Linnaeus, we said he was the first scientist to come up with our main classification system, and we called that main classification system what? What did we call that? Give me the drum roll. We called it binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature. Well, what's bi? Two, right? Okay? So this is a two-word, literally, a two-word system of naming. Binomial nomenclature. Now notice, folks, and I did this for a reason, okay? Notice that the B on binomial is capitalized. Notice that the N is not. I did that on purpose, okay? Notice that this is italicized, isn't it? Okay, it's in italics. I did that on purpose, okay? I did that on purpose. Why? Because in binomial nomenclature, the first word is always capitalized. It represents the genus. The second word is lowercase. It represents the species. And to be most correct, okay, we need to have it italicized. If we can't italicize, like if you and I were writing them down, we can't write in italics. We can't italicize our writing, so we would have to underline it. Could I have italics and underlined? Yeah, that would be okay. That would be okay. Jonathan? This was the end of course? Okay? So, binomial nomenclature. Now, scientific names help us to eliminate confusion. Eliminate confusion. If you look at these, I've given you some common creatures that we know of. Frog, cat, dog, housefly, cobra, and the carp. Here are their binomial nomenclature. Canis familiaris is the dog. So Canis is the genus, familiaris is the species. If I would ask you, what is the genus of the cat? What would you say? Felis. What is the cat's species? Domestica. Okay. Felis domestica. Now, helps to eliminate confusion, we're going to talk about, and I'm going to go through a little bit of these. Look at this guy, Panthera the tigris. Panthera tigris. There he is. Notice, that's in italics. Didn't italicize this, but that's underlined. Is that okay? Yeah. What's the Panthera leo? The lion. Okay. The Panthera pardus. That looks like the black panther there to me. The Panthera onica. Right? That looks like a cheetah. Common name that we would call a cheetah. All right. But do you see they're all pretty closely related, aren't they? They're all pretty closely related. They're all of the same genus. And what is that genus? Panthera. Okay? Panthera. Now, we'll talk about the modern system tomorrow.